So let's move on because I am interested in the basketball side of things. As you can see, I'm a huge.
Really? I never knew that.
Yeah, right. As you can see, I like the DeRozan jersey as well. But listen, like we got kind of introduced from my high school basketball coach, Sean Dougal. I do want to ask, where did you guys meet, and is he as good as he says he is in basketball? Like,
Okay. So I haven't really, we haven't played yet.
okay, all right,
We haven't played one-on-one. How we got connected, I'm trying to remember because he's actually, his uncle was my high school coach.
Oh, okay, cool.
So Dave West is a pioneer in Toronto basketball. Apparently he had the scoring record at U of T, and this was before a three-point line. It recently got broken, I think, like 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah.
But Dave West is a historian as far as basketball wise, and I had the opportunity of being coached by him in high school for a couple of years. So we got connected. He actually came up to me. I'm trying to remember where it was, but he said, "Hey, what's up? You know, Dave West, that's my uncle." I'm like, "What?"
Yeah.
So kind of just built a little connection there, and then we kept in contact, and he had me come up to the school a couple times. We have a workshop, and just
actually I know what you're talking about. The is like a business workshop where a bunch of they're in the gymnasium.
Yeah. Grade 10 and 11. I think grade 10, 11, 12.
Yeah.
And it happened in the library. So I've gone 2 years in a row, and the response was amazing. Like the kids were very responsive, and they asked a lot of questions, and I was able to share my journey and stuff like that. So that's how we got connected. So we just kept in contact, and then he brought you up, and I was like, I'm down, let's do it. So
no, that's awesome, man. It's cool how the web of connections works, right?
Yeah.
You meet someone that meets someone that meets someone.
Small world, man. Small world.
Absolutely. Let's get into your basketball career, man. So you go from a high schooler in Toronto, and you make it to D1 basketball at Bradley University in Illinois, which back then was no easy task for a Canadian basketball player to get to a D1 college, because, man, like, it's not as easy as people make it seem now. There's a lot of Canadian recruitment now. There's way more talent, so there's a lot more recruiters going here and watching games. Back then, it's not like that, right?
It was tough. It was tough. I'm just trying to, like, so many, as soon as you said that, I got so many, like, memories of things that we had to do just to get some exposure. Like, coaches were not coming up to Canada like 20 years ago. They were not coming at all. But I was playing on a couple rep teams, and I just remember always going to the States on the weekends. Like every other weekend, we were packed up in a Chrysler minivan. Guys are sitting on the ground. Guys are sitting in the trunk. And we're driving to like New Jersey. We're driving to Pennsylvania. We're driving to New York. We're all these trips.
Just to get some runs in.
Just to get some exposure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So this is what we had to do to get exposure and, get D1 coaches looking at us, because they weren't coming up at the time. And when I was in high school, like Jamaa McClure was like the big thing. Like he went to Kentucky. He played on the Canadian national team. He was I believe high school All-American, McDonald's All-American. He played in the game. First Canadian to do that. So it's like, man, this is what I want to do, but it's hard. Like I wanted to go to the McDonald's All-American game, but that was impossible. You know what I mean? And go to ABCD camp, all those stuff. But it was difficult. We were walking around with VHS tapes in our bags, going to runs.
VHS tapes of that. Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy.
So the quick story, how I got Bradley University. So I used to run with Grassroots back in the day. I also ran with Prep Stars with Wayne Dawkins. So I ran Grassroots with Ro Russell, and the Bradley coach actually came up to see another player. And after the runs, he came to me and was like, "Hey, how you doing? Do you have any film?" And for me, I was like, you got to be ready at all times. You never know.
Right.
And I had a couple VHS highlight tapes in my book bag just in case.
Wow.
And I was like, yeah, I have one. And I gave it to him. He's like, wow, he was impressed. So I'm like, yeah, here's a tape. You can take it, watch it. I gave it to him. And then that same week, I got a call back, and he's basically critiquing me, and he's like, "Listen, man, you're very athletic, but you're very lazy." And I was like, "What?" I'm like, "Lazy? What are you talking about?" But I knew what he meant. After I got to Bradley, I knew exactly what he meant when he said lazy.
Mhm.
So right there, something switched for me as far as playing basketball and the way I play and playing with intensity and not taking, not relaxing on offense or defense. You know what I mean? So, yeah, those are like some early stories as far as like getting exposure, man. It was tough.
Crazy. You just said
Guys are getting looks or exposure from like a highlight tape on YouTube. Like they're getting scholarships, man.
Oh yeah. You could make a Instagram post 60 seconds and
right.
that'll
And
be
your DMs hitting up. Then you have coaches hitting up your DMs.
Yeah. Wow, that's crazy. VHS tape. Okay, so you get to Bradley now.
Yeah.
And you have to adjust to this role. And this is such an interesting part of the journey of a basketball player for me, because in high school, I'm assuming you're killing it. Like you're dropping like 20 points, 30 points a night. You're absolutely probably killing it, right?
Yeah.
But then you have to go and you have to adjust to this different role on a completely different team.
Yeah.
Your minutes might be there, your touches might not be there. So like, does that hurt you in terms of confidence as a player? Do you feel like, oh man, I can't stick around here?
You know what? It was very humbling because I realized early that I wasn't going to be the same player that I was in high school. So if you kind of think about it, every guy on a D1 team, they used to be the man on their team. And I realized that all those guys were like the number one go-to guy on their team. And there's very few guys that join a D1 team that have that same role, right? So I remember a meeting that we had in practice, and the coach went through each and every one of us and told us what our role was on the team. And, I had to accept it. If I wanted to play, I had to accept it.
Right.
I want you to come on and play good defense. I want you to grab rebounds. I want you to bring energy. And I'm like, that's my role? And I know I could do much more, but if I wanted to play, I knew I had to do that role.
You had to do
so,
those. It's like the Dennis Rodman, right? He realized if I perfect rebounding, if they keep me on the floor for this, then I can contribute in other ways as well.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Right. And then obviously being a Canadian, you know what I mean? But luckily for me, I already had 2 Canadians on the team. So I came in with James Gillingham. He's from Guelph, Ontario. And Jerome Robinson that went to Westwood, he was already there. He was a senior. Right. So when I got there, I already had, 2 Canadian brothers help me with the transition. But being Canadian, and you're playing on an American team, like, you got to earn the respect, because they're like, yo, this guy's from Canada. We could have got another American in that spot for that scholarship.
Back then, right? Like,
exactly.
Yeah.
Right. You know what I mean? So in a way, you got to earn respect. And it was a lot of hard work, obviously, but I earned the respect of my teammates, and I accepted my role, what the coach wanted to be, as much as I didn't want it. But I knew if I wanted to play and for the team to be successful, then I'd have to like basically humble myself and, and do the role that he wanted me to do. So, man, definitely eye opener.